Hello everybody, welcome back. Okay, so this painting here is from a sketch I did while I was out plein air painting. And it's watercolor and I'll walk you through it. There's a few interesting things I found out about this. I kind of knew, but you know, until you do it. Okay, so first and foremost, I'm using 140-pound cold press watercolor paper. It's not cotton. Okay, paper is up and down, almost completely up and down. I'm only using a few colors here. I'm using Prussian blue, I'm using a red, using a burnt umber, and a burnt sienna, a yellow ochre. So, and a little bit of white. A little bit of white. Don't let it scare you. It's not gouache. But just a little bit of white here. White tends to soften things up, colors up. White watercolor, and it can muddy things up as well. Okay. So right away, and I didn't sit down, for an hour or half hour to, say, okay, I'm going to do what I just jotted down in my sketchbook while I was out in my plein air field. No, what I did here was I took a good look at it, the values, everything. And I said, okay, now how can I do this on watercolor paper? How can I do this? So this is how I did it. Okay. You could see I'm using the fan brush. I could have used a larger brush for the water, and I didn't want to because I didn't know exactly how this was going to go. And as you see this painting here, you'll probably see, some of you will probably see a few things that you probably won't expect. Okay, so for example, usually in watercolors, we start from the lightest to the dark, the lightest values to the dark. And, but it just depends. It depends on your drying time. If you let it dry, you can always come back. Certain colors are opaque, some are not. It depends on your brush, how much water is in your brush. It also depends on your mood. So I did this fast and loose, and you'll see how things change here. If you're beginner watercolor or been around for a while, you probably understand these things. And some people are not afraid, but reluctant to try these things. I guess it's just a matter of habit or preference. So I'm putting some Prussian blue in here over the yellow ochre. I didn't water all of my paper, but I got the sky in really quick, right? Okay, so now we're gonna, and I love doing this. I love blending on the paper. I mean, watercolor is kind of unpredictable as it is because it does its own thing, right? And one of the things I love about watercolor is it is so unpredictable, but it's kind of like trying to walk a. You go and you buy a brand new dog, you adopt a new dog or something, and you don't know the dog's temperament or whatever. You go on a leash, you go to a park, and you don't know if the dog is going to take off, maybe at a car or a bird or something, and then, or if the dog is curious and just kind of like, That's how watercolors are to me. I'm putting in some yellow ochre here. Okay. I'm not using any bright yellows. This is the only ochre, the only yellow I'm using, and it's actually an earth tone and it has brown properties in it. So, while I was painting this, and I wasn't looking at the sketch I did. I mean, I already did the sketch. I was like, okay, we're going to move this around. We're going to put some of this dirty water on here. And we're going to put some water on this paint. And we're going to drop it down. Let the gravity do the work. My paper is basically up and down here. Okay. And I know I got a few things in my back pocket. I've got a napkin, right? Got your napkin, you can dab out paints. I have dry brushes. I can lift paint as well that way. These are the tools that that you can use. I have a little piece of a card, or you can use a plastic palette knife or whatever. This is wet on wet. So I also know that when I move the paint like I'm doing here, it's gonna move over or it's gonna blend. It's either gonna blend or it's gonna move over. I'm putting in right here some of the burnt umber. And look at what I'm doing here. You don't usually see burnt umber as a shade in trees. I mean, and with a fan brush on top of it. But it also was lifting the colors, right? Look at this. Whoosh. That is dark Prussian blue. Very dark. Okay. Now I can do a few things with this. I mean, everything is so wet. I'm loving the sky. I'm loving the different textures of these trees, right? And, okay. So, when I was sitting there at the river, my sketch, I seen the shadow coming right from across the river. And it was brown. It wasn't blue, it was brown, So, great thing we have. Wonderful thing that we have paper napkins and such. So I'm bringing some of this Prussian blue down, and I'm kind of getting into the paint I've already put on there. Um, I on this painting here, I do have for each color, I have fresh out of the tube, and I also have it diluted. I think that's very important. Uh, so with a little bit of yellow ochre, I'm kind of coming in here. You know, it's kind of like when I paint. I always have a cool and a warm of just about every paint that I do when I do my oil paintings. I have a cool and a warm. So with the card, boom, there's your shoreline. Basically, the way I see the card in this painting here was that's my cutoff line. It's like taking a pencil before you even put it on the paper, but taking a pencil and doing it during a painting. And that's what I did with the card. That was the cutoff line, the shore. And with the card here, I'm just going up this here tree. The tree that was at the site I was at. And I'm creating more branches, tree trunks. The tree that was actually at the site I was at was actually full blown tree. So I didn't want a full blown just trees. So I made it simple by just using like a dead tree, and with a little bit of white, and everything's still wet. Now we're gonna go in here and just we're kind of muddy it up a little bit and kind of gray it up. Um, you know, simplicity is the thing. It is the key if you're doing plein air painting, or if you just want to relax. Don't make it so hard. Just chill out. You know. You see, if you're looking at it now, and you see a bunch of this glob, you know, and it's got different colors here and there, with a few lines going up in there and there for the tree trunks, but that's what separates everything and makes it kind of nice. The sky is very important in this painting because the sky kind of takes you to a different kind of feeling. I had a wonderful time doing this. I was going to put a boat launch in there, but I decided no, because I don't want details here. I just want it to look nice. I could have put in some rocks and everything else, but no, I wanted it different. So when you're looking at the painting, you're actually looking at the sun coming onto the trees. If you can see that. And that makes it really nice. And then what we'll do here is put a little bit of blue just to give a little bit of shadow, a little bit of depth into this painting. I hope that you're having a wonderful day. Hey, consider liking and subscribing, and I appreciate it. I will catch you the next time. Have a wonderful day. Sincerely yours, John.